In the kitchen, craft is everything. An ounce more, a minute less can make all the difference. As a Michelin star chef, I've learned that it's not just about what we make, but the way we make it. And in this series, I'm teaming up with the Balvenie to meet the extraordinary people keeping alive some of our most precious handcraft traditions. Along the way, I'll be drawing inspiration and gathering ingredients for a unique meal of my own. A celebration bringing together the very best of British craft. I'm almost at the end of my journey. And for this final leg, I'm on home turf. At my own restaurant in the West End of London, the Langham. In the kitchens, myself and my team of chefs are busy preparing for the craftsman's dinner. A meal inspired by the crafts and ingredients I've found on my journey. But there's still one final ingredient I've yet to source. Hello, Alwyn.
Hi, Michel.
Good to see you.
Lovely to see you.
Alwyn Gwilt from the Balvenie distillery is the perfect person to help me source a very special drink for the end of the meal. So what have you got for me?
So I wanted to bring down a couple of things that you can't get elsewhere. So we have two different whiskies, and as you'll note, there's quite a big difference in colour. And that is all coming from the cask. As you know, at our beautiful Balvenie distillery in Speyside, we have a lot of casks maturing quietly, sleeping away. So when the whiskey comes off the still, it looks just like a gin or a vodka would be. But when we put it into those casks and leave it to rest for however many years, it starts to extract and work with those casks to really pull out different flavors, but it also adds color. You know, our first whiskey that we'll try spent its life entirely in an American oak cask.
So it's been in one cask for the whole of its life.
Yep.
I think that's just magical.
So shall we give it a taste?
Yes.
Right.
So. Well.
Are you going to be able to chop vegetables after this?
Nope. That is really special. Mm-hmm. First thing, yes, hot.
Absolutely.
The alcohol, but then the flavour comes in. Vanilla. I'm finding citrusy notes in there as well, but
Yep.
very dry.
This second one that we have is a European oak cask and a much, much darker color. What's fascinating is these two whiskies could have been maturing side by side in the warehouse with the exact same spirit to start off with, but putting them in these different homes, we'll end up with a really different product.
Here goes, I'm going in.
You're going in. Good luck.
Wow. I've never tasted anything quite like that. Really complex flavours there. Lots of caramel flavour, fruit, zesty orange.
But as you can see, completely different than that first whiskey.
Saying that, there's a great length to it. I'm still getting all those lovely flavours and the aroma, which is wonderful. Because it's the end of the meal.
Yes.
And it will be a final toast, probably still with coffee and maybe some chocolate.
Yep.
I think that this one, the one in the sherry cask, is the one to go for.
Fantastic. Is that your final decision?
No, I just need another taste. At its best, fine dining is never just about food. It's about setting the stage for a journey of the senses. An experience that takes us beyond the everyday to somewhere unexpected. So to bring my guests to dinner, it's appropriate they should arrive in no ordinary mode of transport.
Good afternoon, sir.
Hello.
How are you?
All my guests are arriving in their very own handmade Morgan car. There's no better way to make everyone feel that little bit special.
Park the car. I'll be back later, James.
From my own visit to the Morgan factory, I know these cars are not only extraordinary examples of traditional handcraft, but most importantly, great fun to drive.
It really is pure driving. I'm falling in love with this car.
For Morgan's head of design, John Wells, it's a proud moment.
I think there certainly is a sense of occasion turning up in a Morgan, especially somewhere like the Langham. You never get tired of seeing people's expressions when they've never been in one before. So much effort and love goes into building them. It's nice to show them off a bit.
Tonight's dinner brings together all the craftspeople I've met on my journey, from a traditional baker to handmade car makers, a pair of cheese innovators, and London's finest rooftop beekeepers. And now, after a few last touches in the kitchen, it's finally time for dinner to start. Good evening, everyone. Good evening. Welcome to the Craftsman's Dinner. We're going to have some fun tonight. We're going to really enjoy all of your wonderful food and skills in this beautiful, beautiful dining room. And hopefully I'll be able to do a little bit of magic with your ingredients and with your craft and make it into something really special. So let's enjoy the dinner. The starter we've got in front of us, we've got smoked salmon that has been flavoured with Balvenie whiskey, of course. Underneath the salmon, we've got some sprouted grains. I absolutely loved those sprouted grains that I tasted at Worcester's Bakery. I was putting my hands in the jar and just eating them like that. They are so sweet and nutty and delicious. So I thought to incorporate it in this dish as well. All the way through the meal, we have got exquisite bread. Bread provided by Will, our master baker. So really, really enjoy this. Sniff it, break it, feel it. It's got body, it's alive. Enjoy. Will's slow ferment sourdough features whole malted grains of rye that give the loaf a rich, nutty texture. Working from a beautifully restored windmill in the heart of Suffolk, Will's craft has been shaped by the passion and support of his family. It's the sheer love of baking passed down from Nan to Dad to Will himself that makes this extraordinary bread all the more special.
Those grains they really work. It's incredible. It's a bit surreal, I've got to say. A guy that you've been sort of idolising is now sat there and told everyone how good the bread is. So no, it's amazing, and to see your bread sat here and people were genuinely enthusiastic about it is a bit of an honour, really. Quite humbling.
The airy lightness of Will's bread is the perfect complement to this delicate appetizer. For the main course, however, it's time for something with a touch of theatre.
Ooh. Wow.
Good. Right, here we have the main course. A roast loin of veal, and the garnish for this are sweetbreads, veal sweetbreads, that have been basted and caramelised in Bermondsey Street honey. So there we have it. All that's needed now is for me to carve. While delicious on its own, Dale and Sarah's honey also works perfectly as a glaze. The secret behind its richness comes from its urban origins. The sheer variety of flora near their rooftop hives gives their honey an extraordinary aromatic flavour. And their natural processing techniques ensure that all of these floral notes are retained in every jar.
I was really impressed with the fact that each mouthful was absolutely distinct in flavour, very light sauce, taking everything together but without masking any of the flavours, which of course meant that our honey then pinged out of the sweetbread.
Honey requires subtlety if you're going to cook with it and end up with something with any degree of finesse. And I think that, we just had a masterclass in honey finesse.
Congratulations to the chef. Chapeau, chapeau.
Are we having a doggy bag of that before you take it away?
You are going to get a slap, Philip.
Can I send one extra?
With some meals, a cheese course might merely play a supporting role. Tonight, however, it's a star attraction. Right, here we have the cheese board.
Wow.
Wild cheese from Tottenham.
Tottenham.
From Tottenham. Tottenham, North London. Wonderful cheese board and some honeycomb. Cheese and honey, I think, are a match made in heaven. So we have 3 cheese, London Shire, Alexander, and the Balvenie cheese. Now, the Balvenie cheese we christened, didn't we? We gave it a name.
Roland.
Great. So I shall carve away.
Michel, welcome to Waz Cheese.
When I came to Philip and Keith's workshop, I got a chance to sample their experimental methods firsthand. It's a very sensual experience.
Don't you light those fires with me? They're not as easy to put out as you might think.
Their new cheese is made with prunes soaked in Balvenie whiskey. And since my visit, further aging of the cheese has given the finished result an even richer flavour.
We try a lot of our cheese cold. You've been to the dairy, cut a piece, try it. What's the acid like? What's the flavour like? And it's really unusual for us to eat it in a relaxed dinner setting, appreciating maybe what other people appreciate rather than looking for faults. So we come here and it's like, oh wow, look at this. It's utterly awe-inspiring. Because I think Nando's is classy.
It's dessert, pudding time. Lovely, can't wait. We have brown bread ice cream, provided by Will. The rye sprouted sourdough, which we've used, which gives lots of texture as well as a depth of flavour. And the ice cream is also flavoured with a bit of honey, which gives us the sweetness, and some Balvenie whiskey, which gives us that big oomph. Broken down into crumbs, Will's bread makes a perfect flavouring for ice cream. The baked, crispy rye grains also add a pleasing, crunchy texture to the finished dessert. And then we've got chocolate sauce. Because life is better with chocolate.
The juxtaposition of the two textures, that real soft, the ice cream dissolved and left you with the nice crunchy bits of the sprouted grain and the crumbs of the bread. Very nice, very nice.
That was delicious.
Incredible.
I always think if you eat off other people's plates, there's no calories. Yeah.
Hey, look! I recognise that.
When Michel came to the Morgan factory, he actually bent this wheel arch himself. Not nearly on himself, I helped a little bit.
Craftsman Nick Butler left me in no doubt that making a Morgan is far from easy.
That hand on the top, that hand on the bottom, that's it. And as you're going round, this hand's going that way, and that hand's going that way, and in the meantime, you're pushing this way as well.
The flowing rear wheel arch is one of the most distinctive parts of the finished design. And while my own attempt to make one may not have been quite up to scratch,
You've come back too far now, so...
this finished arch is a fitting reminder of the years of dedication required to become a master of one's craft.
So I've got the woodshop guys to sign it.
Oh, lovely!
Okay, so on behalf of
Wow,
myself...
look at that! Good effort, it says here.
Yeah, we've got that. Good effort.
Thank you.
No problem, it's a pleasure.
Proud owner of a Morgan wheel arch, I think it's called. Yeah. Now I just need the motor and the wheels.
Just need the rest of it, don't you? Stick it together.
Up and down the country there are artisans, like the ones that were at the table tonight, that need to be cherished and that need that recognition. And in many respects, that's what the craftsman's dinner is all about. It joins people together, and it's just almost like a wonderful family, all with the same values. And now for this beautiful, unique whiskey. All its life, since 1992, it's been in this one single cask that had a previous life of sherry. So it's intense, it's unique, absolutely sensational. If you put it to the nose, And a toast, a special toast, to friendship and to the craftsman's dinner. Cheers. Cheers.